God is good, and each day that passes brings us a day closer to the launch of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen. Today I wanted to discuss why it's okay to put your trust fully in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen as your MMORPG. Now, as MMORPG gamers, we have been jaded, we have been screwed over, and we have gotten excited about projects, about gimmicks, about things in the past so many times that it's really hard for us to believe in any company, any people, and to be able to accept a new MMORPG coming out in the future is going to itch our needs and take care of us as far as what we want and what we need and what we crave in an MMORPG. So I'm going to be breaking it down, and we're going to be discussing why Pantheon Rise of the Fallen is actually different than the other MMORPGs, because we've all heard it before. We've been there, we've heard it, we've read it, we've seen it, we've seen the advertisements of so many MMORPGs, we've heard so many content creators talking about the new MMORPG, the WoW killer, etc. And to be quite frank, we are completely sick of hearing about it, thinking about it, and then getting our hopes all up only to be crashed at a terrible game at launch. So let's talk about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen and what really actually sets it apart and makes it different. Now, before we get all the way deep into this, I do want to real quick say that if you are new to the Nathan NAPALM channel, please consider subscribing, especially if you're interested in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen content or old school MMORPGs, because that's what we do here at the Nathan NAPALM channel. So let's start out with the definition of trust. Trust is defined as assured reliance on the character, ability, strength, or truth of someone or something, or one in which confidence is placed. So when we're putting our trust in Pantheon, we're putting our trust in someone. So who are we putting our trust into? Well, that would be Visionary Realms, which is a small team, but a team full of talent. Let's talk about that. Number one, we have Brad McQuaid, okay? He's a video game designer. He was a key designer in EverQuest. We all know about EverQuest, released back in 1999. He also co-founded Sigil Games Online, where he was the CEO and executive producer of Vanguard Saga of Heroes, another great MMORPG. Back at that time, PC Gamer had called McQuaid one of the next game gods in its November 2000 issue, believing that he would eventually become one of the industry's most influential game developers. And there is much more talent at Visionary Realms. We just would take all day going through them. But what about what we're actually seeing? What about the actual mechanics in the game? What kind of things is Visionary Realms bringing to this massive multiplayer online RPG? Well, let's touch on that. So first of all, the monsters are tougher, they're harder, they have more mechanics to them. The exploration of the game world is more involved. You need people, you need friends, and your reputation in the game can either help you progress or hinder you from progressing, depending on your interactions with other people. Death in the game, it's meaningful, and you will want to avoid it. You will have corpse runs and terrible consequences for dying, so it does create an emergent gameplay experience. You'll learn from your surroundings, you'll learn from the lay of the land. By spending more time in each area, not just running through it, learning from it, spending time in each area with strategy, cunning, and endurance so that you can uncover all that Pantheon has to offer. More on that in a minute. You will find yourself in groups, in guilds, and you will strategize in order to survive this harsh environment. Pantheon is a social game. It's going to cause you to have thoughts and think about what you're doing and have consequences for your actions. And your memories in Terminus are going to last a lifetime. Why? How do we know that? Well, because our EverQuest experience lasted us a lifetime. And why is that? Because of the things I just mentioned, mainly the difficulty. Visionary Realms is trying to take a new step into the player versus environment, PvE. They want you to engage with the world. Visionary Realms and their developers see the word environment as meaning a lot more than just fighting an NPC. They want the players to contend with the world itself. There may be hot areas, there may be extremely cold areas, there might be enchanted areas with complete darkness or silence, meaning you can't use a spell, or with poison. There could be small tornadoes traveling through a region, making players work their way around them, not through them, or they're going to take ridiculous damage. Also, certain spells may work better or worse depending on the climate or the atmosphere of the area. You could call a lightning spell and it could deal more damage if there's a storm in the region. And what about abilities and spells that you usually in your MMO learn from a trainer, or they're just given to you for leveling up? Well, in Pantheon, some of the more rare and exotic spells and abilities are not found at a trainer, but from a wide sage, for example, hiding in the depths of a dungeon or the top of a remote tower. Also, Visionary Realms is trying to avoid the Groundhog Day effect. In other words, things being static and unchanging. So events occur that can completely change the population of a zone or the population of a group of NPCs within a zone, and the rarer the event, the rarer the rewards. So exotic items can only be obtained when one of these zone events occur. An example might be that after you kill some key mobs guarding a hill giant camp, this could trigger a zone-wide event that loads up an invading force of storm giants who then proceed to attack the hill giant camp. Imagine that a zone event occurs and you're online and you realize it's happening, and you realize there could be rare items and things and rewards come from this, so you begin texting, getting on your Discord, letting your guild and friends know that they need to log on ASAP for this event while it's happening so they can get in on the action. That is Emergent gameplay. It's exciting and it makes the world more alive. And we're not talking about Guild Wars 2 style events that just happen non-stop. We're not talking about Final Fantasy XIV Fates. We're talking about things that are spawned by particular actions that happen by the gamers in the world that can spawn and trigger certain events. We're talking about rare zone-wide events where they don't happen often, where it is a rare or special, sometimes even a one-time event situation. But what about the NPCs themselves? We're pretty used to NPCs having particular behaviors and acting a certain way and getting used to those, but in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, the enemies have dispositions. Those can be discovered by the player, however, but many NPCs in Pantheons will have advanced behaviors, like the possibility to flee, if possible, or to stand and fight to the end. Some NPCs will be inclined to help other NPCs in the area, and some will not. Some will target certain classes within the group that is attacking them. NPCs' movement speeds can vary if they feel they are outmatched. While it is too early to go into tons of detail, some of the different dispositions that they're working on include the Alarmist, the Bully, the Craven, the Opportunist, the Protector, and the Strategist. Different classes will use different colors of mana as well. Some rare abilities, spells, and prayers will be used more than one color of mana. These exotic spells create an opportunity to subclass your character, allowing players to customize their class to a degree. So now we're getting into the realm of possibility of actually making your class different than the others, and making yourself stand out from the crowd, which is fantastic and something that the community certainly wants. There's also talk of making it possible of the progeny system, which basically just means that you can retire a high-level character and create a child of that character. Now, within this progeny system, they'll have certain abilities, stats, etc. that make them slightly, yet noticeably better than a completely brand new character. But they're trying to balance that so that it doesn't completely unbalance everything. And of course, one of the more profound things about Pantheon is how they are designing the game from the ground up so that the environment matters. They want players to care about the world they are in, and why things are the way that they are, the lore of the game. Basically, when you think of an MMO, you really didn't usually discover the meaning or the history or the secrets of a person, place, or event without being told, or it being part of the story. What they're trying to come up with the perception system is a way to bring players back to exploring because they're compelled to, and because of what they see in front of them, not because they have a giant exclamation mark everywhere to click on and see what's going on, but because they're actually investigating it. And it could vary from player to player. In Pantheon, wizards might be able to perceive something that a wizard cannot. Through prayer, a cleric may gain insight into an area, a creature, or something of that nature. Through that perception system, Pantheon will redefine how the game world becomes known and how players will work together to progress. And just to top it off, they have a couple other things they're working on for the future, such as building outposts, non-instanced housing, player-run dungeons and regions. So there is plenty going on in the world of Pantheon Rise of the Fallen to make sure that it's not only EverQuest with better graphics, but it's actually progressing and moving forward and evolving the genre. So why should you put your trust in Pantheon Rise of the Fallen? Well, because it's not just a game based on that old school feel or EverQuest style gameplay, but it's actually innovating beyond it. So it's the next step in the MMORPG genre. Basically what we're doing here is we're going back, we're pretending as if 2004 World of Warcraft never even happened, and we're learning from the original games, and we're progressing it beyond that so that we get a game that isn't just EverQuest, it isn't just EverQuest, the spiritual successor, it's actually a brand new world with brand new lore, with brand new features, is actually expanding upon what EverQuest originally set up. EverQuest being the pillars, and now Pantheon Rise of the Fallen being the final product of everything learned from those experiences. I hope you enjoyed the video today, and I hope it brought you at least a little bit of excitement about Pantheon Rise of the Fallen, and I hope that it encouraged you, that you are supporting the right MMORPG, that you are putting your trust and faith into a game that will turn out to be everything and more than we expected. Because if there's anything Visionary Realms has taught us, it's that they always over-exceed our expectations. You can see that from the new graphic update in Pre-Alpha 4. You can see that from the expansion of the perception system into what we know it today. You can see it from every single interview that the developers do. This is a passion project from people that go back to the original days of MMORPGs. And if you're going to trust an MMORPG, if this is a genre that you love, then you're in the right place. I hope you enjoyed the video, and like I said before, guys, if you're not subscribed to my channel and you do enjoy Pantheon Rise of the Fallen content or old school MMO, please join me here at the Nathan NAPALM by subscribing, commenting, liking, etc. And I hope you guys have a great day. Until the next video, God bless and happy gaming.